isn't letting him have a title shot unless he earns one, so he feels like it's unfair that Cody's getting one.
That is true. Like, how the fuck you just gonna show up at TNA and you're just automatically granted a fucking title shot because you're a big shot and you came from WWE? Fuck that shit, TNA. TNA, you need to stop being so fucking sucker. Stop sucking up to these motherfuckers, bro. They gotta go to the back of the line, work their ass off just like everybody else before them did. Come on now. Just because you're from WWE don't mean you get special fucking gifts handed to you and shit like that. No.
The crowd chant boring, which makes...
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Eli Down. Welcome back to another video, and today we have a very special video for you guys. What on earth was Cody Rhodes doing in the Impact Zone? Now, we all seen Cody Rhodes when he was with the WWE. Yeah, he still is with the WWE. What the fuck am I talking about? But we all see his little come up, you know, to finish the storyline and shit like that. But do you remember when he was in the Impact Zone? Do you remember when he was in TNA? You probably don't. You probably don't give a fuck. You probably do give a fuck, but back then you probably didn't give a fuck. But right now, we're going to go ahead and watch his stuff, discuss it at the end of the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And let's get straight into the video.
Shove it, man! Alright, shove it. We recently covered Drew McIntyre's run in TNA, so it only makes sense to follow that up with Cody Rhodes
That video's coming up next too.
in TNA, which is around the same time. Cody came into TNA at a really bad time, when all their main stars had already left and the show was pretty much dead. So you may have missed this run. Don't feel bad about it though, you don't need to smack yourself in the gut. I'll do it for you. I barely remember it myself. But this won't be an episode of Was It Any Good because, well, I'll reveal the reason for that at the end of the video. We're going to try and have a positive discussion here today because this really has nothing to do with AEW or WWE. This is what happened in TNA. But let the Hawk know if you think Cody was right to leave WWE in 2016. Anyway, enough talking, it's Cody Rhodes in TNA. So this thing takes place in late 2016 after he'd left the WWE. He would work for both ROH and TNA at the same time. I think this is one of the earliest examples of this sort of thing happening, a non-exclusive contract. This sort of thing happens all the time nowadays, and I'm not a fan of it. It always gets to the point where having separate companies is pointless if people could just jump wherever they want. And it takes away the warring companies feel from years gone by. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, hit me with a brick. Cody Rhodes had a list of wrestlers in his pocket that he wanted to face whilst not under an exclusive contract. He was going on a tour and wanted to recapture his love of wrestling, and it just so happens that two of the guys on his list were signed to TNA. TNA loved ex-WWE wrestlers, so they were only too happy to give Cody exactly what he wanted. Things don't start out too great for Cody though, because he's told by the WWE that he's not allowed to use the name Cody Rhodes, so in TNA, he will simply be known as Cody. At Bound for Glory 2016, Mike Bennett is throwing a tantrum on the mic. The arena goes dark and a voice says, "Wrestling is in my blood. There is only one royal family in wrestling." And here he is. Oh no, he brought his wife with him.
Dashing Cody Rhodes.
In TNA, Cody often wears a leather sheepskin jacket. It must have been cold in that arena. Maria Kanellis Bennett slaps Brandy pretty much straight away, which causes the Miracle and Cody to fight. Cody takes him out with a natural disaster which gets rid of him. They share a kiss. I mean Cody and his wife does, not Cody and Mike Bennett. And Cody hoists his wife onto his shoulders like she's the centre of attention. Like she's done something big. Why is she wearing a nappy? Oh no, I've just had a bad thought. It's early days, let's wait a little bit longer before forming an opinion. That's literally all that happened to this debut. Pretty low key, not the best of starts. It feels like it's more about Maria and Brandy. They return the following week and at least the crowd are happy to see him. He said him arriving in TNA is game changing. He talks about how great TNA is for a bit before moving on to talk about the WWE. Then he stops and gets his wife a chant for the crowd. She looks so happy about this. Cody says not only does he have a list of wrestlers he wants to fight, but also he wants to be a TNA heavyweight champion, and he has been granted a shot at the belt. A decent promo is interrupted by the Miracle Mike Bennett and Maria. Bennett is annoyed because the crowd won't stop chanting Cody. Bennett reveals that TNA isn't letting him have a title shot unless he earns one, so he feels like it's unfair that Cody's getting one.
That is true. Like, how the fuck you just gonna show up at TNA and you're just automatically granted a fucking title shot because you're a big shot and you came from WWE? Fuck that shit, TNA. TNA, you need to stop being so fucking sucker. Stop sucking up to these motherfuckers, bro. They gotta go to the back of the line, work their ass off just like everybody else before them did. Come on now. Just because you're from WWE don't mean you get special fucking gifts handed to you and shit like that. No.
The crowd chant boring, which makes Cody sleep on the top rope. He stops sleeping and says he wants to fight Bennett. The fight lasts 2 shakes of a lamb's tail before Bennett dumps his nappy of fear and runs away. Cody is now demanding a match with Mike Bennett, and just like that, we have their match. It feels like it should have been built up a bit more, but it wasn't. So on to Cody's first match. Cody's literally got wrestling boots on that say TNA. Gotta appreciate a dedication to that. Cody is certainly trying in TNA, he's flying all over the shop.
That'd be cool if he brought that back. I'm sorry for stopping it.
Cody Rhodes wins his first match with the Crossroads. It's still only an 8-minute match, so it's nothing incredible, but it's a good TV match. I guess Cody's going to move on with his little list now because it doesn't seem like there's anything left for him to do here. Up next, it's Eddie Slapnut Edwards, who just became the TNA World Champion. Cody says it's sad that he's going to have to crush his dreams. I was completely on board with this. Cody once again informs us that he only left the WWE because he was missing out on certain moments. He gets a bit emotional now when he talks about his dad Dusty Rhodes. Dusty told him he was only allowed to be a wrestler if he would be the best wrestler, which means he must be the TNA World Champion. He promises to beat Slapnuts, which brings the Slapnut himself out. Cody introduces himself as the Brandy Rhodes thrilling, giant killing, mustaching, formerly dashing, impact crashing Cody. But he also tells Eddie that he's going to know exactly who he is when he beats him up tonight. Lashley interrupts them and says they're both goons and he'll face the winner of the match. Lashley keeps winding Cody up in backstage segments. He compares Cody Rhodes to Aaron Rex, the former Damien Sandow. Lashley thinks Cody is just another fake saviour coming to TNA. He promises their paths are going to cross soon, but back to the Slapnuts match. I truly believed at this time that Cody was about to win the title. He's an ex-WWE guy taking on a cruiserweight who only just won the TNA title. Surely it's an obvious title change. They start with a handshake, so it's an ROH gimmick. This match is funny because Eddie is trying to be a good guy, but the fans just don't care about him with Cody in there. It's slightly better than the Mike Bennett match. It has a nice range of moves, but it's pretty even for the most part. After a superplex, Slapnuts rolls Cody up, and that's the 3. Cody's a bad loser because...
Damn, is that the 6-sided ring? Oh my god, bro. I know that shit hurt, bro. I know that shit fucking hurt. Just ask AJ Styles. He said he rather have a 4-sided ring than a 6-sided ring. I mean, I don't blame him because that shit looked like it hurt.
Broke his promise to the crowd. Then he changes his mind and shakes his hand and raises his arm. Brandy Rhodes in leggings tries to comfort her husband when she's ripped off the apron and sent into the steps by Maria. So it seems like this feud with the Miracle is still not over. So now we must have an intergender tag match, which will be the Impact debut of Brandy Rhodes. And she's going to wrestle Maria. This could be a car crash because as talented as Maria is, she's not exactly known to be good for her wrestling ability. Now the guys pretty much wrestle the entire match because Maria wants nothing to do with this. The tag does eventually happen anyway, and it's a cat fight. Maria just keeps running away too. Cody eventually blocks her and Brandy has a chance to beat on her. Brandy sends her into Mike Bennett's nutsack. She hits the downward spiral on Maria and puts her in one of the worst submission holds I think I've ever seen, and then the match ends by tap out. Cody and Brandy share a kiss to celebrate. A terrible main event,
what the fuck is that?
Which isn't Cody's fault. The women obviously took the level of this match down. Brandy celebrates like she just pinned Hulk Hogan. As Cody walks backstage, he's punked out by Bobby Lashley. Brandy screams and frantically scratches at thin air. Lashley said Cody isn't welcome.
Bro, you're not affecting Bobby Lashley. If he wants to beat on your husband, he's going to beat on your husband. You can't just sit there and just scratch him and do all that. But he can't feel that shit. His back, he can't feel that shit, bro. So he's just going to beat on your husband. And you just don't know. You just sit back and wait until he's done, bro. That's Bobby Lashley, bro. Come on now.
In his house without permission. And Brandy Rhodes then informs us that Lashley beat him up so badly that Cody is gone from TNA. She tells us he'll be back someday. But don't worry, because Brandy is officially a TNA knockout now. Yep, this is what I feared. Cody being in TNA was never about Cody being a committed TNA wrestler. I doubt he even wanted to be here. This was always just about his wife. Those first few Cody matches were solely used to establish Brandy Rhodes as an on-screen character and make her popular for association to Cody. And this just sucks so badly. Brandy Rhodes is now a badass main character in the Knockouts division. Except there was just one problem. She sucks. She looks so clumsy in the ring, like she's about to fall over at any second. They'd keep reminding us that she was Cody's wife because that was her only redeeming quality. She kept telling us that Cody was coming back soon. In the meantime, she really only had one major storyline. Rosemary was trying to force her to join their freaky sexy faction, the Decay. Brandy wouldn't do it, so she was about to get a beat down from the group. Moose randomly made the save for Brandy
where Cody
Rhodes.
at? Shit.
Now I know this isn't a video about her, but stay tuned, I promise it's all relevant. Now we do get another intergender tag match. Brandy and Moose take on the Decay. This match makes me want to scratch my eyes out and punch my eardrums in. I have never felt a cringe level like this Brandy Rhodes woman in this match. We learn that Brandy is now calling herself Mini Moose. She's screaming and pumping her arm
How you gonna be called Mini Moose when you're married to Cody Rhodes? What the fuck?
like a partner, screaming mini moose every 2 seconds. She won't stop doing it. She still looks like she's going to fall over. Moose and Brandy win. They are now best friends.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, you was doing your thing, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
You did great. You did
good. Oh,
I might be Big Moose around here, but you're definitely Mini Moose. Good job tonight.
Mini Moose.
This man always asking for this.
Mini moose. Well, Cody Rhodes must have felt a bit jealous because he returned on the following episode of TNA. He was also dressed up all smart to try and win her back. He tells us that he's been travelling the world wrestling since we last saw him. He looks like he's been punched in both his eyes with a brick. He tells us he's not here to talk about Bobby Lashley assaulting him last time we saw him. Instead, no, none of that matters because he's here to talk about Brandy Rhodes, aka Mini Moose. The crowd chant Moose and Brandy. His wife tells us that she's only a wrestler to try and impress Cody. She keeps doing the Moose fist pump thing whilst Cody dumps in his nappy of jealousy. He is Cody the cuckold. Eventually they bring Big Moose out. Cody tells Moose he is now one of his family. But then it turns sour when Moose reveals that Brandy has his phone number and Moose will always be here for her if she needs him. Cody says it sounds like the Wrestling Business Relationships 101. Cody calls Moose a slut. So random. Brandy accuses Cody of embarrassing her in a new place of work. Cody then kind of backs down and says he's joking, but then he kicks Moose in his nutsack. He hits Moose with the crossroads whilst Brandy is livid. Cody drags his wife away from her friend. Pretty intriguing and by far the best thing that's happened in Cody's TNA run so far. Moose responds the next week with lots of references to Cody's past, such as I don't care what club you're part of. Cody rushes in from behind in his sheepskin leather jacket. The security try to pull them apart, but Cody starts beating them up. Moose powerbombs one of the security team over the top rope. Bit over the top, Moose, calm down mate. 4 geeks try and pull them apart, but they can't manage it. Moose dives on Cody off the steps. The wrestlers come out and have to drag them apart. Brandy rushes out screaming that we're done. Cody decides to pretend that he's done, but then he throws Josh Matthews off the commentary desk. Moose dives from the ring onto the giant mass of people. That ends the segment and it was incredible. I love the intensity, simply brilliant. I believe these two truly hated each other. Not enough of that in wrestling nowadays. A short derailment from the feud was Moose taking the grand title from Drew McDonald that night. Cody kept...
Bro, why does Drew McIntyre keep on getting his ass fucking kicked? This guy's a main eventer, bro. What the fuck?
Showing up in TNA, but Moose was now in Japan. Cody called Jeremy Borash a stooge. For some reason, he's the GFW champion and he's proud of it. Cody refuses to leave the ring area until Moose turns up. Everyone's told him several times that he's in Japan. Really enjoying this unhinged character he's playing. Unfortunately, he leaves, so I guess he's not true to his word. Cody's next TNA appearance is on Impact before his wife is due to face a jobber. He says the match can't take place, and it's hilarious. He tells the jobber, here's $45. It's $20 more than TNA were planning to pay you. He tells the jobber to go to the back and stand in the corner until she's summoned. He turns to running down Moose. Cody tells us that he's the biggest man, which his wife can attest to. Impact are not allowed to pimp the Rhodes family name out anymore. He also challenges Moose for the grand title. The next week we learn that somehow TNA had the money to hire a limo for Cody. I'm shocked about that. Moose has now returned from Japan, so Cody leaves his limo to smack Moose with a steel chair. He hits the crossroads on Moose on the ramp and poses with the belt. Which finally leads us to the big match where they're going to settle their differences. It's a Brandy Rhodes on a pole match. No, I'm kidding.
What?
But what they actually did is possibly worse. For some reason, the match is just on a random episode of Impact, and it's the second match on the show, and it's going to be under the grand title rules. Which means they won't be able to have a normal match. For anyone who's not familiar with the grand title, it was TNA's attempt at trying to capitalise with UFC popularity. So the match would be 3 3-minute rounds, and the match can end any time to pinfall or submission. But each time a round ends, they must be separated and be graded by the judges.
What?
If no winner by the end of the 3 rounds, the judge decides the winner. Doesn't really sound like an appropriate way to settle this personal feud. Cody accidentally causes a...
You might as well put on some MMA gloves, put on some shorts, and fucking do that shit in the ring, bro. Fuck the wrestling, bro. Kicks, punches, biting is loud. Shit. That's dumb. This is the dumbest match stipulation I've ever heard of.
Judge bump, so I bet he's screwed his chances up. Cody hit some big moves in the first round, ending with a hangman's DDT. The first round is somehow awarded to Moose. Well, it's probably because Cody hit that judge. The second round doesn't seem to be going well for Cody either, as he's power bombed on the ring apron. Brandy stops Moose from using a steel chair and then Cody kicks it in his face. Just like real UFC. Cody puts on a submission for 20 seconds before the second round ends. Cody is awarded the second round win and celebrates with happiness. The crowd chant "too sweet." He tries to kiss his wife, but she stops him. She says that they're both idiots and tells them to kill each other, and she leaves. In the third round, Cody manages to land the natural disaster. The two start frantically brawling as the clock runs out. And the third round ends with the two guys wanting to carry on their blood feud, but they must stop as the bell has sounded. And these are the grand title rules. The crowd chant "one more round," but because it's TNA and they're dicks, they won't get it. The judges rule that Moose has won by split decision, despite not hitting any big moves in the third round. Cody looks at Moose with anger, but there's nothing he can do because...
Ew, what the fuck? Is that a contact in his eye? American... That shit weird. Come on,
3
buddy.
rounds are over.
Fuck.
What a horrible match to settle their feud. It doesn't really feel like anything's settled. It wasn't poorly wrestled at all, but it was wrong to restrict them like that. They were really selling me on their hatred, and then they made them fight in a 3-round match with these dumb rules. Way to screw it up, TNA, you're forever dumb. A great storyline which could have ended with an excellent match. And just like that, Cody was done with TNA. I guess he forgot about Bobby Lashley beating him up, or he was just too scared of the Destroyer. And his wife would soon be done with TNA too, because they wanted to take a percentage of her pay from a non-TNA related project. Cody has since revealed he only did TNA as a favour to Josh Matthews. Now what some people may not realise is that TNA was struggling so much financially at the time that most of these appearances were taped on the same day, so he was probably actually only in TNA for a few days. The first batch of appearances were horrible as they were just here to get his wife over. And what did that really achieve? Did she become a great TNA knockout? But that second run in 2017 was sweet, and I wish we could have seen that feud continue. Amazing character work and promos, and some humour mixed in too. Exactly the combination I like in my wrestling. It was an interesting run, but as I said, I'm not here to say if it was good or not because it was just taped over a few days and TNA was on life support. What Cody Rhodes did in those few days was some good work, even if it was just to get his wife over. And despite how cringy and bad she was, the Impact live crowd did seem to like her. Not that it means much, but I'm just showing I haven't got a bias, it did happen, they liked her. So well done Cody Rhodes, and if you don't agree with that, your opinion blows.
Alright. Now that that's over, I feel like Cody Rhodes returned to the WWE at the right fucking time. It just sucks to see TNA struggle that much because back in 06, 05, bro, they were on top of the fucking world. To me personally, they were neck and neck with WWE, bro. So it kind of sucks to see TNA struggling, but I'm glad to see Cody Rhodes, you know what I'm saying, through all that bullshit that he went through all the stories and all that fucking indies and all that. I'm glad to see him actually getting some success and some respect here in WWE, man. But anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like, comment, subscribe too, you know. And yeah, I'll catch y'all on another video, man. Peace.